Ever heard of checks and balances? No, not for a bank account. The checks and balances I'm talking about are for the U.S. federal government. The Constitution divides the U.S. government into three branches: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. Each branch has its own job to do. Checks and balances keep each branch of the government from using their job to become too powerful. How? Here's an example. Congress is the legislative branch. It's split into the House and the Senate, so it already has some checks built right in. The main job of Congress is to create bills that one day may be turned into laws. But Congress can't go around making any laws they want and expecting everyone to be okay with it. That's what parents are for, right? So when Congress passes a bill, it goes to the president for approval. As the head of the executive branch, the president can sign the bill into law or veto it. The president's decision is a check on the lawmaking power of Congress. But what if Congress doesn't agree with the president? Congress can override the president's veto if 2/3 of its members vote to do so. Even though this is very difficult to do, it's how Congress is able to check the power of the executive branch. But that's not all. The judicial branch of government, or the Supreme Court, can also check lawmaking power. If a law is challenged in court, a judge might decide that the law is unconstitutional. That's like saying it should have never been made. It can even throw out a law that has gone through Congress and been approved by the president. Now, don't think the Supreme Court's just there to delete everyone else's work. Their power of interpreting law and settling disputes has checks too. For instance, Congress has the power to make an amendment to the Constitution. This is a long and difficult process, but it can make that law they wanted to pass constitutional. In addition, it's the president's duty to select and appoint federal judges. This check prevents the Supreme Court from creating its own rules for selecting judges. That's good because who knows, I might want to be a judge someday. And I don't want somebody making up new rules to stop me. After the president selects a federal judge, the Senate, part of the legislative branch, must approve his choice. This is a check on the executive branch. It makes sure the president isn't picking judges without the Senate's consent. Congress has final say on the number of federal courts and judges. This is another check on the judicial branch's power. The president can do more than pick judges. The president has the power to issue an executive order to deal with some situations, like if there's an emergency. Maybe he needs to send troops overseas to stop a rebellion and rescue Americans in danger. But even executive orders have limits. Only Congress can declare war. That means unless Congress supports the executive order, the troops will eventually be called back. Plus, Congress must approve paying for these actions, so the president can't keep the troops in action if Congress doesn't give him the money. The Supreme Court could rule the executive order to be unconstitutional, just like it could a law. The president is the leader of the executive branch, but if he gets power hungry or starts breaking laws, then the House can vote to impeach. That means bring charges against the president. Once impeached, the president goes on trial. Both the legislative and judicial branch can check the power of the executive through the impeachment process. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presides over the trial. The Senate decides whether the president is guilty. This is a serious check. As of 2013, it's only happened twice, and neither was found guilty. One of those presidents was a fan of giving out pardons. Have you ever heard of a pardon? It's like forgiveness. The president has the power to pardon, which is a check on the judicial branch, since the courts can punish criminals. Sometimes the president or other executive leaders can make treaties with other countries, but the Senate must approve any agreement before it's official. If it seems like the president is checked a lot, it's true. From the beginning, Americans needed to be sure no president could take over and abuse their rights. The president can check the legislative branch by calling a special session of Congress. This might be due to an emergency, like the conflict situation I talked about before. Also, the vice president is president of the Senate. He or she can break a tie vote in the Senate. So, do you have this checks and balances thing down? Just remember, being a responsible citizen is super important. Responsible citizens make sure to voice their opinions and make the government work for them. After all, they are the most important check on the government.